Hey everyone, I'm Suede Wanamaker, and welcome to Cinematic Vault. This is a space for cinematic storytelling, fan made, reimagined, and brought to life visuals and narration. Every project you see here was carefully written, built around emotion, myth, and meaning. Today we are going over the 21st story in the Godzilla cinematic universe. Now sit back and let the vault open. A story of loss, survival, and rebirth. This is King Kong Depths of the Island, a fan made film story written by Suede Wanamaker, realized with AI visuals and AI narration.
The South Pacific rages with an unnatural fury, a storm that seems born from the abyss itself. Waves tower like mountains, tearing a humanitarian vessel apart as if it were nothing but driftwood. Among the terrified passengers, a little girl clings desperately to her mother's arm, her cries lost to thunder and crashing surf. As lightning splits the sky, the ship buckles under the sea's weight, swallowed into the black. In the chaos, the girl is pulled under, clinging to wreckage as the storm devours everything familiar. Her name is Nora Quinn, and this night marks the beginning of a life forever untethered from the world she once knew. When Nora awakens, it is to silence. The ocean calm at last, the wreckage scattered across an alien shore of black stone and jagged cliffs. Her mother is gone, claimed by the depths. As she stumbles inland, dazed and trembling, shadowed figures emerge from the jungle's edge, their forms painted in ash and clay, their eyes wary but not cruel. The island's tribe surrounds her, speaking in a tongue she cannot understand, carrying her into a world older than any memory she knows. Though she cannot name it, this is Skull Island, a place untouched, unforgiving, and alive with secrets. Time moves strangely here, days melting into years, and Nora grows within the care of the tribe. Their language becomes hers, their traditions etched into her bones. She learns to weave from palm fronds, to track the sound of distant birds, to read the rhythm of the drums that echo across the cliffs. And always, she hears whispers of the Great Protector. Sometimes, through fog curling between the trees, she sees him, a towering silhouette that shakes the ground with every step. Kong. To the tribe, he is not beast but balance, a force of protection. To Nora, he is a mystery that walks the line between terror and comfort. 2 years later, far from the island, another story begins at sea. Jack Hayes, 17, has already lived through losses that hollowed him out. His mother, taken by illness. His father, Royce Hayes, lost to war. For a time, he stayed with family friends Steve and Yumi Martin, who did their best to hold him steady. But Jack's silence only grew heavier. It was Marvin "Red" Tate, Royce's old comrade, who stepped in, not out of pity, but out of loyalty, determined to give the boy a reason to keep going. They scraped by doing salvage runs, Jack drifting in Red's shadow, convincing himself that life no longer offers purpose. One salvage trip leads them into waters uncharted. The sea itself seems restless, the air thick and pressing. Without warning, the depths boil, and something vast rises. Ebirah, a titan of the deep, armored in crimson shell and crowned with jagged claws, bursts from the waves. Its strike is instant, a wrecking force that shatters steel beams and reduces the ship to splinters. The storm builds alongside the monster, ripping apart everything Red and Jack thought was solid. Jack feels the ocean's pull drag him under, and for a moment, he wonders if maybe this is where it ends. But the sea has other plans. Jack and Red wash ashore on a beach that feels wrong, as though no chart has ever dared mark it. The jungle looms, heavy with the scent of soil and salt, its shadows thick with unseen eyes. Red is badly hurt, forcing Jack to take the lead, a role he never wanted, never asked for. Every step inland feels like trespass, every breath like a borrowed chance. Jack, who has lived years wishing not to live, finds himself clinging to survival for the first time in a long time. It is in a morning clearing, light dripping through mist like spilled gold, that Jack sees him. Kong, a wall of fur and flesh, scarred and immense, moving with silent authority that shakes the ground. The sight freezes Jack's breath, his father's warnings echoing in his skull. Monsters exist only to be feared and destroyed. Yet as Kong strides past, he does not lash out or kill. He simply moves like a mountain alive. And for the first time, Jack's certainty cracks. Captured by the tribe, Jack and Red are bound, their fate in question. Spears point, drums rise, and judgment seems certain. Until Nora steps forward. No longer the frightened child from the wreck, she speaks with the tribe's voice, her words both familiar and strange. She recognizes Jack's fear, for she once wore it too. She vouches for them, insisting they are not enemies, not invaders, but lost souls deserving of mercy. When Jack meets her eyes, he does not see weakness. He sees someone carved by loss, surviving anyway. Nora leads Jack deeper into Skull Island, showing him what the tribe calls its soul. Glowing caverns where crystals hum in the wind. Plains where skir buffalo graze in silence, unbothered by his presence. Above them, the tree's wings pass across the sun, fire-tipped feathers scattering warmth like rain. Nora tells him this island is not ruled by fear, but by balance. Every creature has its place, even the monstrous. Jack listens, though part of him resists. How can something so savage be good? And yet, part of him wonders if maybe he's the one who's been broken, not the world. Balance does not mean safety. Jack learns this when the beach itself rises beneath him in claws, trapdoor crabs exploding from the ground with snapping fury. He flees through the jungle, only to find kumakuras stalking mantis-like predators whose eyes glint with alien hunger. In the rivers, mire squids drag fish into spirals of foam, patient hunters always waiting. The lesson is brutal. Survival here is earned, never given. And still, Jack keeps moving. For the first time, he doesn't want to stop. The boy who once met kindness with silence begins to shift. When Red fumbles with the spear, Jack laughs. Just a small, cracked sound, but a laugh nonetheless. He listens when Nora tells her stories of the stars above the island, or of the songs the tribe sings to the waves. He finds himself caring in ways he thought impossible. Somewhere between danger and wonder, the boy who wanted to vanish begins to return. One day, smoke stains the horizon. Engines roar where they do not belong. Calvin Marris lands with men, machines, and a smile that sells salvation. He promises rescue, safety, a return to the world. The tribe looks on with suspicion, but Jack sees something sharper. Hunger, greed, the same look in soldiers who once turned his father's loyalty into loss. Red warns him to tread carefully, but Jack's instincts whisper the truth. This man does not come to save. He comes to take. Calvin's men make their move, unleashing fire and steel against Ebirah. Explosions tear into the shoreline, smoke blinding the beach. But the Titan does not fall. It rises with fury, dragging men into the surf, blood turning the tide crimson. Kong arrives with thunder in his step, his rage shaking the earth. The clash of guardian and invader is apocalyptic, every blow echoing across the island's bones. Watching Kong fight, Jack feels something stir. Not fear, not despair, but awe. Ebirah is driven back, but not without leaving scars. Kong's body is torn, his steps faltering, his breath heavy. The Titan bleeds, and with that weakness, Calvin sees opportunity. Nets are unfurled, steel traps bite into earth. The hunt begins. Men trying to chain the very being who stands between them and annihilation. Jack watches in horror, realizing Calvin doesn't just threaten Kong. He threatens the island's balance itself. But Jack refuses to stand idle. With Nora at his side and Red pushing past his wounds, they strike in silence. Knives cut ropes, engines sputter with sand in their tanks. Captives slip free into the night. Every shadow of the jungle seems to shelter them. every whisper of wind guiding their hands. Jack feels the rush of action. Not empty destruction, but defiance that means something. For the first time, his choices matter. Calvin's pride cannot be stopped. With no men left willing to follow, he takes harpoons and flares and walks into the storm. He thinks himself master of sea and beast, a man destined to claim dominion. But the ocean has no master. Ebirah rises, claws like red sighs. The sea swallows Calvin's screams as easily as it swallowed his arrogance, leaving nothing behind but silence. The island reels, the tribe's faith wavering. Kong is gone to his wounds, and fear takes root. But Jack does not let it grow. He and Nora rally the tribe, Red at their side. Fires roar, drums thunder, and steel salvaged from the wreck is hammered into spears. The tribe will not bow to fear, not while breath remains. And for Jack, it is not about survival alone. It is about standing for something greater than himself. Ebirah returns with the tide, waves higher than the palms crashing into the shore. The beast bellows, claiming dominion. And then Kong rises. Wounded but unbroken, his roar splits the heavens. He charges through the surf, colliding with Ebirah in a storm of water and rage. The sea boils with their fury, every strike a test of will. At last, with one final shattering blow, Kong drags the crustacean down, breaking its grip on the island forever. Peace falls with the tide. At a quiet cove, the repaired boat rests against the shallows. Jack sharpens a spear by the fire, Red seated beside him, a carved wooden figure in hand. They share no words, but in their silence lies a bond, not of blood, but of choice. Jack has learned that family is not who you are born to, but who stands beside you when the world ends. Above them, Kong watches from the cliffs, his silhouette etched against the fading sun, a reminder of the weight all protectors carry. As dawn breaks, the tribe lines the shore, watching as Jack, Nora, and Red set sail. The sea stretches endless before them, but none look away from the island. Nora turns once, the jungle's wind in her hair. Jack writes in his journal, his words carried by the rhythm of the waves. Words he never thought he'd live to write. On the cliffs above, Kong stands as sentinel, watching until the boat disappears beyond the horizon. Jack finally understands. Not all monsters destroy, some protect. And in their shadow, broken lives can learn to rise again. King Kong, Depths of the Island, the battle that awakens new purpose. If you enjoyed this journey into forgotten legends and untold worlds, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you never miss a new upload. Thank you for stepping into the vault where every story leaves a mark.